What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode 35. I started really fast, and these guys didn't even know it. Today, we're going to talk about week 10. With us this week, starting off in Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. I don't know what to say to you, my friend, but I am very, very sorry. How are you? Are you okay? I love
Uh,
you.
yeah, I'm healing. I'm healing. The black and blue is starting to fade. Yeah, it was a whooping, but I'm still fighting, and we'll get into it. But
Yeah.
uh, still just happy to be here and looking forward to breaking this down.
Love you for being here, my friend, and also with us from Hillsdale, New Jersey. Mike, how are you feeling on Monday? You took a double up whooping too, didn't you?
I did. I did. I'm feeling a little down, Joe, but you know what? It's week 11. There's still a bit of time. I don't feel like I'm out of it. I'm 15 games back of the sixth place team. There's still time. Um, and yeah, I'm just in mourning and recovery, just like Jason.
We are halfway through the season, guys, and if you're one of the guys at the bottom or toward the bottom of the standings, you have got some work to do. The trade deadline is only a few weeks away. We're probably looking at about a month until that comes. So beware of that. The only people who are concerned about trade maximums, I think, are myself and maybe Brian Lebo. We both have four.
I mean, I have
Everybody
four too.
else, and Costas. Costas has four, I believe, as well.
I think I have four also.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
all know who we are. Two left as the trade deadline continues. Make sure that you are cognizant of it. Let's dive right into this week, guys, and we're going to start with the story of 2022 thus far. It is Chris Levy and this incredible run that this guy has been on. We've seen in years past that he's been on runs, but nothing like this. Another double up win here this week. 13-5 over Mike Sherman on Sunday. We saw steals. Chris had a one steal lead, and Mike flipped that category.
Nice.
Innings were tied, and Mike got that. Losses, Mike had a one loss lead, and he lost twice on Sunday, kicks that category. Walks given up were tied, and Mike gave up too many there. As well as relief appearances, he had a two relief appearance lead, and Chris ended up coming back to tie that. Close categories. Chris wins by the loss, the walk given up by the pitcher, and 8 ticks on the whip. Mike wins by the steal and the two wins I mentioned. They tied in triples, homers, and those relief appearances. For Chris Levy on his bench, we'll start with Mike Haber this week. 4 for 34.
Wow, that's awesome. Well done, Chris Levy. 4 for 34. That is a 142.
118.
Okay. All right.
5 runs, a homer, 3 RBIs, a steal, 5 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The only things that play here are the homer and the steal. He tied home runs, and he missed steals by 1. The most egregious one, I think, is on Sunday. He just recently posted something to the board saying that he wanted to move Tyro Estrada. Well, Tyro Estrada was the guy who homered on his bench on Sunday, while Mike Yastrzemski was 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout and a run scored. Like, that is the play.
Yeah.
He's also the play for the steal on Wednesday the 15th, but it is a bit harder to get in here. He went 0 for 3 with a run, a steal, and a walk. But, like, everybody sort of hit. Cronenworth has been stupid hot. It's hard to get in there. So,
Yeah.
his moves this week, he drops Brooks Raley for Chris Archer, and that was a waste. He drops Brian Bello. Or, no, he added Brian Bello as an NA spot. Who is this guy? Does anybody know who this guy is?
He's like a pitching prospect for the Red Sox, and they keep like teasing that he's gonna be maybe coming up soon. He's been lighting it up in AAA, but nothing yet.
Okay. I mean, he's bounced around already to a few teams, and I have no clue who this dude is. He then dropped Chris Archer same day for David Peterson, who went 4 innings, got the loss, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 9 ERA, and a 2 WHIP. He drops Peterson for Oscar Gonzalez over 4 with 3 strikeouts. Oscar Gonzalez for Nabil Krismat, who did not appear for him. Krismat gets dropped for Jose Trevino over 3 with a strikeout, and then dropped Trevino. His MVP this week. It's really difficult to not say Jake Cronenworth in a week where he hit 552 and had a 629 on base percentage.
Oh, jeez.
But it's got to be Paul Goldschmidt, right? 467 with a 515, 7 runs, 3 doubles, 4 homers, 11 RBIs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Ronald Acuna, 143 with a 200, nothing in counting stats except 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and an error. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross. If that's the worst hitter you have on your team right now for a week, and you're still doubling dudes up, this is such a dangerous team. His Cy Young goes to Tony Gonsolin. 6 1/3, a win, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 0.47 whip. The Cy Yuck, Hector Neris the meme, 2 1/3, a loss, a walk, 2 strikeouts, 1929 stock market crash, and a 257 whip with 3 relief appearances. On Sherman's side, Mike Haber, 6 for 29.
All right. 6 for 24 would be 250, and 6 for 30 would be 200. So that is a 212.
207.
Ah,
Well done.
all right.
4 runs, 3 doubles, an RBI, 7 walks, and 10 strikeouts. None of it plays. His moves this week, he dropped Luis Gonzalez, not the guy from 2001 getting jammed off Mariano Rivera,
Ugh.
but the outfielder for the San Francisco Giants. He also dropped Trevor Williams for Adam Duvall, who was on the bench and went 1 for 4 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. He dropped Devin Smeltzer for Chris Archer, ironically, the guy his opponent dropped the same day. He goes 4 innings for the loss, 2 homers, 3 strikeouts, a 450, and an 0.75 whip. So neither one of them were good.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
Aaron Loop gets dropped for Kyle Hendricks. Jason, your thoughts on Kyle Hendricks?
Bye, Felicia.
4 1/3, a loss, 2 homers, a walk, 6 strikeouts, 12.46 on the ERA, 2.08 on the whip. Not great. Not
No.
great.
Not great.
His MVP this week, the only guy that could probably stand out here since he only won the steals category, is Jorge Mateo with a 200 and a 273 on base, a run, an RBI, 3 steals, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. Okay, you've got a guy who can steal bases. And maybe that's a trade chip at the deadline. There are guys who are just absolutely dying for a steal.
Yeah.
The least valuable hitter, Randy Arozarena, 095 with a 208, a run, a walk, 9 strikeouts, and an error. For the season, my dude here is hitting 253 with 7 and 12. If this guy is not going forward a lock for 2020 every year, I don't know who is. Like, I think he's proven at this point, if he finishes this season going 2020 again, that'll be the second full season in a row he's done it, plus the 2020 postseason we have. Like, that's proof he's good, right?
Yeah.
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 This is about where I expected to see him. Like,
Sure.
Not a high batting average, good, power speed combo.
Does he strike out
70 by season's end? Like, that's
Does he strike out a lot?
Let's see. The on-base percentage is not great. He does not walk much, but 65 strikeouts over 250 at-bats. That's not terrible.
It's not awful, no.
That's not awful at all. 14 doubles is nice. 30 runs scored is nice. This is a nice piece, too.
Yeah.
The Cy Young is Julio Urias. 6 innings, a win, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 0.67 whip. The Cy Yuck. Kyle Hendricks, we talked about it. 4 1/3, a loss, 2 homers, a walk, 6 strikeouts, 12.46, and a 2.08. Devin Smeltzer was actually probably worse, but there you go.
Yeah, yikes.
All right, Chris Levy getting another big win this week. Jason, this guy has been in the league for quite a while, has not made the playoffs yet. I think we can almost stamp his ticket at this point, can't we?
I mean, barring some, catastrophe, I would think you have to. We've said it, over and over again. His team is one of, if not the most just balanced team between offense and pitching. Paul Goldschmidt's an MVP candidate, and so is Aaron Judge. So like he's got MVPs from both leagues. When Ronald Acuna is your least valuable hitter, and you still win, and you're still in first place, like that kind of speaks to how your team is doing. So, I think he's pretty much a lock.
How about the fact that he put together a team where he could get Acuna, Judge, Goldschmidt on the same team? How good did this draft, Mike Haver?
Yeah, and I remember us saying it after the draft too, like oh shit, because Acuna was injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brantley, we weren't sure what he was going to be. He's always kind of a contact hitter, but same thing with Luis Ariz. Not a lot of counting stats, but a good contact hitter. Bregman had a down year last year, but like here all these guys are now healthy and contributing, and I'm so terrified to play this team this week.
Not for nothing, Bregman is having another awful season. 218
Yes.
average, 7 and 30 RBIs. Like he's not great right now, but he does have more walks than strikeouts. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
something, right? He's
it's
an
something.
on-base machine, but I'm not exactly sold as him being in the same echelon as the guys we see like on my team, Max Muncy, Juan Soto, guys like that. I think he's a tier down in this kind of player. But that being said, if he's the sixth best bat in your lineup,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
And by the way, not only does he have two highly potential MVPs from each league, also Cy Youngs. He's got Shane McClanahan and Tony Gonsolin. Like,
Yeah.
so you have an MVP from each league and a Cy Young award from each league. Like,
What he absolutely needs is another piece in the bullpen, I think.
yes.
Like I would be shocked if he didn't go out looking for another piece in the bullpen. Now Fire
Yeah.
Eisen's going to come back, and he's got every shot to be a Rays closer. Rays closer, not the, because there is no the. It's
Nope.
Rays closer. And
But Tanner Houck is legit though.
Tanner Houck seems to be legit. I thought that dude was going to be the guy that goes into the rotation, and that Garrett Whitlock was the guy to the bullpen. So
That's why I
the
drafted
Red Sox for throwing us a fucking curve this season.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Cora.
Awesome. As for Mike Sherman, well, again, it's not a spoiler week, but it's a pretty. I mean, look, this was a team that was going to hit 308, have a 400 on base percentage. He was up against like this was a difficult week to play Chris Levy. 11
Yeah.
homers will play. The ERA and the innings pitch, wins and strikeouts are what's his. This was a good week. Just didn't get it done.
Yeah.
The four doubles is a little bizarre.
Mm-hmm. It
Just
wasn't
feels like-
even the fewest this week.
Oh wow.
That was not the fewest this week. Yeah.
Damn.
The 4 doubles is bizarre. It's amazing like how low a number of doubles you can get and just like forget that that's a category.
Yeah.
Like if that's gone and you're not competing in it, like you put up a 4 and you're like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's concerning. The offense
It
wasn't
is.
good this week. I mean, they hit 11 home runs, but they hit 229.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's the top tier Joey Gallo you'd want over like a 2-week stretch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going forward for these guys, we're going to talk about Chris Levy's schedule here. We've talked a lot about how good he has been here in the first half of the season. Well, Mike Haber, you are in fact on the schedule for him this week. Then it's Jimmy Dunlap. Then it's James McCloskey. And the familial showdown in week 14 looms between him and Christian Wood. How would you
Nice.
feel if this was your schedule, Jason?
Not great. not too great. I if I could win like 2 of those, I'd feel accomplished.
At this point, he is in cruise control. He's only lost 2 matchups this season. One to Josh Haber, 10-7, and one to Bobby Russo, 11-8. Everything else has been a win. He is, in fact, on a 7-game winning streak as he enters against Mike Haber. Mike, what are you going to do this week, man?
I'm gonna win this week, Joe.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't. The strategy is gonna be up in the air this week. It's gonna probably change on Wednesday, like it usually does for me. But we'll see. I mean, I think that I have a little bit of an advantage bullpen wise going into the week. I think that I can hopefully stand toe to toe offensively if like Trout and JD and Matt Olson can like hang in there. I should get Grandal back this week, hopefully, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, best of luck to you, my friend. You've got
Thank
the
you.
daunting task here. Let us move on to the next matchup, and it is a tale as old as time. It began 38 years ago in the Nisman household. It is the matchup that we know and love so much. In fact, might be the oldest rivalry in the bigs at this point. I would imagine that that would be the case. Ben and Ari locking horns, and let's call it an upset, guys. This is an absolute double up upset that we never saw coming. Credit to Ari for this double up win, 12-6 over the commish on Sunday. Ben had a 7-tick lead in batting average, and Ari flipped that. Close categories. Ari wins by 3 homers. He wins by those 5 ticks on the batting average. Ben wins by 2 triples. He wins by a walk by a batter and 2 ticks on the on base percentage. There was a point where he was losing this too, and it stayed with him, but damn, that was close too.
Yep.
They tied in losses, home runs, walks. For Ari on his bench, well, Jason, you did the research on this one, so I can't go to you. Mike Haber, it is 24 for 75.
Dude. All right. So 25 for 75 is 333. So it's a little worse than that. So 328.
320.
Oh, a
Pretty
lot
close.
worse. Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. What did 320 eat? You didn't finish your sentence. You said 328. What did it eat?
319.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
nailed it right on the head.
Yeah.
Nice. We're gonna cut that together and fucking make it. He had 12 runs, 6 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, 3 walks, which would have flipped the category, 17 strikeouts, and an error. This thing got close toward the weekend, but Ari made Sunday happen, and he flipped one more category to get the double up. It was very, very well done. His one ad of the week, he drops Nick, Jake, Zeke the plumber for Alec Thomas, the man with 2 first names. His key players this week, we will start with the MVP, and that guy's name is Rhys Hoskins. 400 average, 464 on base percentage, 5 runs, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. If Rhys Hoskins has another triple this season, I will do a show shirtless with a bow tie.
Oh, that's possible. That is
Yeah, it
possible.
happens. We're only halfway through the season.
Exactly. All right. You got 10 more weeks. And that includes the playoffs. If he does that like while, Ari's sitting at home. The least valuable hitter, Nico Horner, 174 and a 240 on base, 2 runs, a triple, an RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. He did have 2 errors. I guess the triple alone doesn't matter because he lost this thing by 2. So yeah, dude didn't hit very well.
Yeah.
The Cy Young goes to Aaron Nola. 15 innings, 14 strikeouts, 1 fucking walk because that's what
Wow.
happens.
Yeah.
120 ERA and 0.73 whip. I will say this much. Ever since they let Joe Girardi go, the Phillies have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aaron Nola has been really good over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
look, we just mentioned 2 Phillies and his key players, right?
Yeah, yeah. And look at this. This is a run of 8 1/3, 6, 8, 7, and 8 innings. And his next start comes in San Diego. It'll be
Gross.
interesting.
Yeah.
His Cy Yuck is Frankie Montas. 5 innings, a loss, a homer, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 5.40 and a 2.60. Dude pitched to a 1.67 ERA this week and a 1.07 whip. Ari, well done, man. I don't think that
Amazing.
Ben would have ever seen this kind of week. And good on you for doubling him up and keeping him in the pack. For Benjamin on his bench, Mike, he went 17 for 61.
That's annoying. 17 for 61. So 17 for 51 is 333. That doesn't help me. So let's go 280.
279. How did that just happen?
Yes.
All right. 8 runs, 4 doubles, 2 homers, 11 RBIs, a steal, 7 walks, 15 strikeouts. None of it plays. None of it matters. His moves this week: he drops Cole Sands of time for Kevin Biggio. That's 1 for 3, a run, the triple, an RBI, and a walk. He then drops Dean Kramer for Carson Kelly 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Drops Taylor Trammell, the hero of last week, for Tyler Wade, the hero of not this week, 0 for 1. He drops Tyler Wade for Patrick Wisdom, 1 for 2 with a walk, and added Johnny VR, 1 for 4 with a run, an RBI, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. He then, and this is what we're going to say now, he drops Anthony Rendon, rest in peace. The Rafi Devers trade is a loss. For Jose Suarez, 4 1/3, a no decision, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 0 ERA, a 1.62 whip at Seattle. He used 6 ads, 5 batters, and a starter. His MVP this week has to go to Charlie Blackmon, 423 with a 4.64. 6 runs, 2 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. It is the other piece he got back in the Devers trade, but there's absolutely zero chance that Charlie Blackmon is going to live up to the Rafael Devers numbers and add in Jeff McNeil's numbers. Like this is a disaster now. And we saw it when the trade was made and scratched our head. We'll talk more about it here in a moment. The least valuable hitter this week is Kevin Biggio. Other than that triple, it looks like he went 1 for 10 with a 182 on base percentage. Run, triple, RBI, walk, and 5 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Miles Michaelis. That's a trade that's a win.
Yes.
8 2/3, a win, a walk, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 0.23 whip. Very
he missed
well
it.
done.
He missed a no-hitter by like inches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a great start against Pittsburgh. The Cy Yuck. Well, we have 2 options here. I think I'm going to go with Tanner Scott, however. 2 2/3, a loss, a save, a home run given up, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 10-13, and 225. Yeah, he got you a save, but you're facing Ari. It means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The rest of it is garbage.
Yeah.
All right. First things first, Ben sent us a long text message chain about an hour ago, and one would imagine that it would not be very fair to him to have sent that to us and not read it aloud for the class. So I will, in fact, find it. Did I miss it? I opened the wrong text message chain. Here we go. I thought I'd just be I just want to make it clear that on Friday I was in the Bermuda Triangle for phone service, and that only added to the main issue. Unfortunately, it was on set all day, where the announcement was made by the executive producer to not bring your phone when you are on set, and Donald Sutherland almost lost it on someone because of it. First day, and my Kate Hudson experience, which at least one of you knows by now. Friday was impossible, was as impossible as I've experienced to get the team straight since the times of when we only had the computer to set the team. It cost me batting average, and Ari's brilliant pitching forced me to tie walks given up and had to play relievers in order to catch the minimum in case Ian got bombed and pulled too quickly. Didn't expect that clown on Miami to give up walks. He's up for sale if you want him. I hate him. Thank you, Tanner Scott. I wish I could have those two stats back most of all, but batting average for sure is beyond gettable. Very upsetting. I still win all 4 of my categories. I think based on how Ari's team performed, especially the first 2 to 3 days, me finding a way to tie 3 stats, grabbing the 2 weird errors plus triples, I was as fortunate as I could be. Using Miggy Moore would have probably done it, but had to stick to the formula of drawing walks. That being said, I'm damn proud of my brother, happy for him, and earned a win on Father's Day. May have been a few years since he has won. And I think that's something to be said here, is that this is a win for Ari. This is not a loss for Ben.
Yep.
And it doesn't hurt Ben very much. He drops from 2nd to 4th. He's still 27 games over 500.
Yeah.
I don't think this hurts him at all. But I think
And
that
he's
this
still
is, yeah, he's still Ben. He's still going to play the way he does. He did win all of his categories: walks, on base percentage, saves, and relief appearances, and 2 more against a team that's not going to be fighting him for a playoff spot. But do we see a problem with Ben's team going forward, Mike?
I don't know. Said it a bit last week, but I say it every year about Ben's team, and every year he's in the finals. So like, I, I don't know what else to say. But like, you look at his offense, and you're like, where is his production coming from? But every year he's there. So in Ben's mind, he's gonna win pitching categories. He's gonna win relief appearances. He's gonna keep that ERA, the strikeouts, the ERA and WHIP low. He's gonna keep strikeouts for hitters low, and he's gonna try to win 11-8 every week by grabbing a couple of 2 or 3 offensive stats and winning all the pitching stats. It's a nice strategy, and it seems to work every year. So.
Jason, when I look back on the draft for Ben and I see that Rafi Devers pick sitting there, the back end of the first round, and to find out that would later just become now nothing and Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah.
He's still going to be here. Like this is still a dude that no matter who's on his team, I'm going to believe in Ben. But man, this one hurts.
It does. And and just the overall roster construction, especially on the offensive side, relying on guys, Miguel Cabrera, Joey Votto, Charlie Blackmon, these aging guys that, they might have a good week or two here and there. But I don't know if you can really, if those can be the guys that you're relying on, all year. But again, we said it before, sometimes the manager is better than the players, and in this case, it's Ben. So I'm not concerned. I mean, I think he's another shoe-in for the playoffs again. How far he'll go, it's dependent on these aging veterans and how they can perform.
Yeah, I'm still a little concerned here about this team making the playoffs. Honestly, there's a lot of hungry dudes in this pack that we're going to talk about here later on in this show. And they've got the players and they've got the horses. This is Ian Anderson was his top starter, wasn't he? Other than the big 2 of Kershaw and Scherzer.
Yeah. Then he's got Michaelis now.
Michaelis is a great trade. Holy hell!
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
I just
huge.
There's something about this team that's just it's concerning me that let me take a look at his schedule because it feels like he's starting to slide all of a sudden. And I don't know if that's accurate, but losing Rendon for the rest of the season is one of the biggest blows that this team could take, on top of having Scherzer and Kershaw down for as long as he has.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's still weathered that storm so far.
Yeah. And Kershaw's back. Scherzer's due back this weekend. So he's getting healthy at the right time. It's just a matter of whether, what else these guys can do for him.
I am so off by saying he's sliding. He's won 4 in a row before this week, and every single one of them was 12-8, 14-6, 12-5, and 14-4. He's been on fire the last month. To see this is disappointing. And he's got Frank this week, who's one of those hot teams in that pack that are hunting for him. It's Frank, Lebo, Sherman, and then you, Mike. A month from now, you'll be having Ben stare down that barrel at you.
Yep, I'm ready for it.
It could be a completely different picture in a month, though.
Yeah,
it could be.
Definitely.
Again, great win for Ari, though. This actually puts him in a great spot to make the consolation bracket to this point. Hey, man, and he's won 3 in a row.
I don't think I want to sleep on it. I mean, it's working right now,
All of a sudden, this is working. He didn't win a matchup for the first 7 weeks. He went 0-5-2 in the first 7 and then has won the last 3. And McCloskey, Christian, and now Ben. He's got Bobby this week. Probably going to be a to the middle matchup. If I had to guess, the score will be something like 11-7.
Yep.
Somebody, I don't know who. And then he's got you, Jason. He's got you in 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, and normally I would be looking forward to that, as kind of a way to get right. But the way he's going right now, I'm gonna have to be on my game.
I agree. Big thanks to Ari. Hey Ben, thanks for sending us your stuff, man. We really appreciate that.
Yep.
Guys, you can do the exact same thing. You want to shoot me an email? You want to shoot me a text message? I mean, you want to shoot me a message on the message board? We can do that, and we'll read it aloud for the class anytime. We're going to move on to the next matchup here, and we're going to talk about the matchup between Mike Haber and Jimmy Dunlap as Jimmy takes down a 14-7 win over Mike. This was a rough loss, Mike. I have to say, this was a tough one here, wasn't it?
It was. And unfortunately, it was a lot closer than it seemed. And I just all those close categories just fell. Mm-hmm. And it happens, and it's happened to me throughout the season. But yeah, this one hurt because I saw 12-8. I saw even 12-9, very close. Mm-hmm. And I felt it slip away on Sunday, and it was very upsetting.
Yeah. There wasn't any change to the score from Saturday to Sunday. It was 14-7 throughout the weekend. Close categories this week. Jimmy wins by 1 run and the triple. Mike, you won by 2 home runs, 2 wins, and 2 relief appearances. You guys didn't tie in anything. For Jimmy on his bench, Jason, 8 for 34.
I'm a math whiz. I'm gonna go. Let's just say 240.
235.
Okay.
Oh,
you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
6 runs, a double, 2 triples, a homer, 2 RBIs, 5 walks, and 5 strikeouts. If he didn't win the triples category, it would be enormous that he left 2 of them on his bench. The only guy that now last week I came on this show and was talking about how I didn't understand why Harrison Bader was starting over certain guys in the lineup. And then he benched Bader most of this week, and the dude was electric.
Yeah.
He tripled on Wednesday. He tripled on Friday, and he doubled and went 3 for 5 on Saturday, all on Jimmy's bench. So that shows how much I fucking know. His moves this week. He dropped Paolo Espino for Matt Bush. He dropped Kyle Nelson for Kyle Crick. Inning in a third, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1350, a 150, and a relief appearance. He dropped Carl Edwards Jr. for Felix Bautista. 2/3 of an inning, 2 strikeouts, a 150 and a 150 whip and a relief appearance. He dropped Kyle Crick for Zach Davies, and it's probably the pickup of the week. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, an 086 whip, nothing earned. He dropped Felix Bautista for Lucas Gilbreth. Is that like what happens after you eat fish? You have Gilbreth?
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Love it. 2 innings, 2 strikeouts, an 050 whip and a relief appearance. He drops Colin McHugh for Hobie Milner. I don't even know who would name their child Hobie.
I like it.
Mr. and Mrs. Milner.
Okay. Inning in 2/3, a strikeout, a 120 whip, and a relief appearance. He dropped Lucas Fishbreath for Wandy Peralta. Inning, a loss, a homer, a walk, a 27 ERA, a 3 whip, and a relief appearance. That was bad. He dropped Mr. and Mrs. Milner's son for Mr. and Mrs. Brogdon's son, whose name is Connor. We remember him from last year's trade debacle. Inning in a third, 150 whip, and a relief appearance. He dropped Hunter Dozier for Colin McHugh, whom he dropped 2 days prior. An inning, a homer, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a 9 ERA, a 3 whip, and a relief appearance. He dropped Will Crow for Jake Berger over 3 with an RBI and 2 strikeouts. And finally, for the final move of the week, he dropped Vinny, I bullied Mike Haber in high school, Pasquantino, for Corbin, not quite the bully because I'm a nice kid, Carroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We like
that sounds about right. Yeah.
We like that. Yeah. All right. Key players this week for Jimmy. We are going to start with Teoscar Hernandez. .310 with a .333, 5 runs, a double, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, a steal, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Brendan Rodgers, a 1 for 10 with no walks, a run, an RBI, and a strikeout. The Cy Young is Christian Javier, 11 innings, a win. 7 walks is not great, but 12 strikeouts with a 2.45 ERA and a 1.27 whip. Nice. Nice. The Cy Young is Wandy Peralta. I spoke about him earlier. He got picked up and blew a game. Great. Mike, for you on the bench, my friend, you went 2 for 7.
Okay. That's something. That's a 284.
286.
All right.
2 runs and 2 walks. And really, it's only the play of Riley Green on Saturday when he got called up. He was still sitting in your NA spot, went 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 2 walks. And I mean, what are you going to do? Like,
Just
that
didn't
shit
get him in
happens
on time.
sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit happens. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Your moves this week, not many of them. You dropped Tyler Kinley for Sir Anthony Dominguez. I do not like that pickup, sir. I do not like it, Sam. I want that guy. Please.
I love it. I
want
love
it.
it.
Jake Berger, you dropped for Sam Henkes, an inning, a strikeout, a 2 whip, and a relief appearance. You dropped Edward Cabrera for Penis Mountain, 5 2/3, a loss, 4 strikeouts, a 4.76, and a 1.24. You dropped Mr. Boner Slope for June Danning, 4 2/3 with a loss, a homer, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 9.64 to 1.71, and you dropped Sam Henkes. That's it. Your moves your key players this week. Mike Trout again shows up, 269 average, 367 on base, 5 runs, 5 homers, 9 RBIs, 4 walks, strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, I'm going with Jose Altuve, man. 227 average, 320 on base, 4 runs, a double, 2 walks, but 8 strikeouts and 2 errors. Bad week. Bad week.
Oops.
The Cy Young has to be Chris Bassett, 14 1/3, a win, a loss, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts, a 1.88 and an 0.7.
What a bounce back.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, had to have it. Had to have it after last week. The Cy Yuck goes to Michael Lorenzen, 5 innings, a loss, a homer, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 12.60 and a 2. Gross. Mike, hit a floor here, man. You had a very interesting match against Jimmy, and you've been critical of him in the past as well, and now he's gone and doubled you up. So the floor is yours.
Yes, I have been. I do want to defend myself because one thing I have not been critical of with Jimmy is his management. I give him credit for his management. I've been critical about the way he handles himself when he loses a matchup. That's what I'm critical of. And I do have to say, management-wise, here's what I'm going to say about it. He added how many relief pitchers this week?
It was a lot.
Maybe
Crick,
10.
Bush, Crick, Bautista, Fish Breath, Obi, Wandy Peralta, Brogdon, McHugh, 8.
Okay, so
8
8
of his
relief
12
pitchers.
moves to relievers. And did he win that category?
No.
Nah.
So you can say what you want about management, but I feel like his players played better than mine this week. And that's what it was. And there's no excuse for it. Like Anthony Rizzo got hot and played well. His pitching staff didn't give up a run for days. And I know Jason can relate to that, but his pitching staff didn't give up a run for days. And it was an uphill battle for me. It was I give him credit for constructing the team, but as far as like day-to-day this week, there's not that much that was done on either side to like actually move the needle. So I give him credit for constructing this team and all of that. But as far as management goes, it wasn't that much of a challenge because I felt him relief pitcher, and I felt confident with it all week. I had a feeling I was going to end up winning that.
And by proxy, it should at least be noted that these guys all had a whip over. Most of them had a whip over 1 in these relief appearances, which speaks to why you were able to despite having a run worse ERA, have a 2-tick better whip
Yeah.
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 while
And
still losing walks. Like half of fucking whip is walks, and you lost that,
right.
and you still win this.
Right. Right. And I felt myself coming back offensively. I was down by 1 run going into the night game, or 2 runs, and whatever it was, and I just needed Altuve to do something. And like he did all week, he did nothing. So
Right. The one
I
thing
don't
I do
know.
want to give Jimmy credit for, man, how you can throw 53 in a third and only give up 2 bombs, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean,
So
it's a great week, and it is a very strong team. And you hit the nail on the head. He has built this team very well.
yes.
The
And
concern I have is with you now, mister. Jason,
okay.
are we concerned about Mr. Haber's season now that he's halfway into the year and sitting in 13th, and he is, let's call it 22 under 500?
You know, I don't understand it, because like I'm looking at the roster, and like there's guys on this team that should be able to carry you pretty well. It's just not performing, you know. And Matt Olson, and I mean Mike Trout is still being Mike Trout, but JD Martinez didn't have a very good week, and but you got a good week from Gleyber Torres. So like there's guys doing stuff on your roster. It's just not enough, I guess.
Has it been the inconsistent pitching, Mike? Is that the problem here?
It could be, but like my ERAs have been pretty competitive.
Mhm.
Like a 370 or whatever it was. Like that's a pretty decent week.
I could play.
And
think-
I mean I like my bullpen too. So
Yeah, I
I'm
love
kind of
your
with
bullpen.
Jason where like I don't really know what it is, but like I do think I have a second pick of the draft curse. I do think that's real because last year it was Bregman and this year it's Olsen. And I feel like it's kind of my bugaboo here.
So a second round curse exists for Mike Haber. We'll have to pay attention to that going forward. I like
Yeah.
I like that story.
Well, Joe, what do you think it is?
I mean, not to jump in, but
No,
like,
go for it. Go for it. I'm just gonna sit here and
because
look for a minute.
I mean, the thing is, eventually, like Haniger and Jimenez are going to come back, like, and I think Jimenez is like really close.
He is.
So,
Yeah.
so like they're going to come back. That's gonna automatically like
No,
just
that's all of a sudden gonna make the outfield really crowded. JD
Yeah.
Martinez has to play every day. Julio Rodriguez has to play every day. Mike Trout has to play every day. Eloy Jimenez has to play every day. Mitch Haniger probably has to play every day. You can't play all 5.
And I have Riley Green.
Who, like, if you like that kid, then I guess he probably has to play some of the time. You know? And, like, what is Christopher Morel? Because the infield starts to get crowded here, too. Olsen, Morel, Altuve, Witt, Glaber. You can only play 4 if
Yep.
you're playing 4 of those outfielders.
Well, I mean, my hope is that when I get some of these guys off of the IL, I could really get some value. I have a couple trades left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who would want a power hitter like Haniger or, throwing Eloy into their lineup? Like, hi, Joe. That could be a lot of fun. If we're gonna point the finger to inconsistent pitching, like this is a way that I can balance my team out when I get some health back. Hi, Joe.
When you get some health back. We've talked. You know what piece I like. You know what we've discussed.
Yeah, you want Eloy Jimenez. Yeah.
Yes. Jimmy had a great week. It should not be overlooked here. The pitching to a 2.70 ERA is beautiful. And look, he made 8 moves for relievers and still lost relief appearances. That's a testament to you and your roster construction to be able to do that and not have to match him move for move. As a matter of fact, you made 2 to get your relievers right and 2 starters, and that's it. It was a good move. It was a good week for you. It's just like you said, the players performed better. And when you
Yeah.
get 8 steals and 3 triples altogether, but one of them in your lineup, you're gonna win. You're gonna win.
Yeah, I do want to give him credit for one managerial decision that I was really impressed with.
Mhm.
His pitching was insane through Thursday, Friday, where he'd only given up 1 or 2 runs tops.
Mhm.
And I think I had only given up 2 or 3 home runs at that point. Like it was still a very low number. He benched Eric Lauer like at the last second. Not that doing it at the last second meant anything, but he benched Eric Lauer against the Reds, which I thought was kind of a nice matchup.
Yeah.
And
Was
Lauer
it in
wound up.
Cincinnati?
It was in Cincinnati, but
Eh,
he
it
wound up
takes a
giving
little
it.
bit off of it, but yeah.
Yeah, he gave up 3 home runs, I think, in that game, and I was like, all right,
Bucks.
definitely
Good
give him
move.
credit for that one. So well
Good
done, Jim.
move. Because
Yeah.
who knows if those homers affect the ERA anymore, but he's not going to lose homers but from that one start alone. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, great to have that on your bench. Good job, Jimmy.
Yes. Yep.
And now Jimmy is sitting in 3rd place. We'll talk about some weeks going forward for each of them. For Jimmy, he's got Matt Losi this week, and then Chris Levy, myself, James McCloskey.
Mm.
How does that sound, Jason?
Hopefully for him, he has better luck against Matt Losi than I did, because the rest of that is pretty daunting.
Or
Really is.
yeah, for you, Mike, your schedule upcoming has Chris Levy right now, James McCloskey, Christian Levy, and Ben Nisman. This is make or break it time. This is
Yeah.
this is nut cutting time for Mike Haber. Either you're gonna go or you're gonna be out, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm looking forward to these matchups. I am. Like I'm scared to play Chris. But the next 3 matchups, even though the teams are solid, I feel like I actually match up well against them. So if I could take 3 out of 4, I think I'm back in it. If I take 2 out of 4, I think I still have a slim shot. If I lose 3 out of 4, I think I'm done.
Yeah. And let's take it another step forward here. Like your matchups then become Bobby and Jason and your brother.
Mm-hmm.
The next 7 matchups for you, 6 of them are teams in the hunt. That's how you get to this promised land. Is you do this damage now.
Yeah.
Watch out for Mike Haber here, guys. This guy is good, and he's got the schedule to do it. Like this is how Brian did it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is exactly the layout for it to happen.
Yep.
Let's move on, Jason.
Do we have to?
I mean, yeah, technically, I guess we kind of do.
Yeah.
It's an 18-1 victory for me this week. I had 21-0 through Thursday. Our recent history, Jason, in 2021 in week 10, I beat you 13-4. It was one of those weeks to help me get right while I was surviving the Mike Trout injury plague that happened. We did not play in 2020 because of what 2020 was. So I go back to week 2019. In week 5, I beat you 14-7. And then in week 20, right before the playoffs, I beat you 11-8. It hasn't been good for you lately.
No,
it really hasn't. And
you're a nemesis.
yeah. And I say every bit of this here on forward with all of the love in my heart for you, man. I did not want to do this. I texted you during the week and told you I didn't want to do this way.
I know. And I said I would do the same thing to you.
I know. On Sunday, RBIs were tied, and of course, I got that too. Close categories. I won by a homer. I won by 2 RBIs, 5 ticks on the batting average, a win, 3 strikeouts by a pitcher, and 8 ticks on the ERA. All of the coin flips were mine. That's it. You won innings by 15.
and that's I kind of knew I was going to do that
You
And
had
so
to. Yeah.
I just kept going for it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to at that point. You're down 21-0. What's the only thing you can do is throw pitching at it and get as much as you can out of it.
Well, it's upsetting that you couldn't pull off wins and strikeouts too with that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. We tied in triples and losses. On my bench this week, Jason, I went 4 for 10.
I know that one. That's 400.
Yep. I had a run, a
Nice.
double, an RBI, and a walk on the bench. Obviously, none of it plays. I also had an inning, a walk, a strikeout, no ERA, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. That doesn't matter either. None of it plays. My moves this week, like every single one tells a story about this matchup.
Yeah.
My first ad of the week is Matthew Liebertor. Do you want to talk about that one, Jason?
Yes, I do. Because I picked him up the week before for a start. I think it was against Pittsburgh also, and he got bushwhacked. And then you pick him up, and he does well.
Did you have to start in Chicago, 3 1/3,
Yeah,
a loss,
that
3
was it,
dingers,
yeah.
3 walks, and a 1080?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And he
then
got
you pick-
sent down. Like he got sent down after that start, and they call him back for this first half of the doubleheader.
And you'll go through my moves, but one of my first ads of the week was picking up Zach Thompson for the Cardinals to pitch against those same Pirates, and he got his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
My second ad of the week was Tyler Rogers. I added Julian Merriweather. They both gave me relief appearances on the day I picked them up. I dropped Sam Henkes for O'Neal Cruz. Bike Haber. Hi.
Hi. Hey.
How are you?
I feel
I
like
have
we
O'Neal
both had
Cruz
both
now,
of them.
and he's playing baseball.
He is playing baseball. Congrats.
I dropped Julian Merriweather for Drew Verhagen, another Cardinals pitcher who was clean against the Pirates. I dropped Drew Verhagen for Adam Simber, who's going to stay here because he's a setup guy for Romano. That guy's not going. Tyler Rogers gets dropped for Seth Martinez. That guy's not going to go anywhere for a minute because he hasn't given up an earned run this season. And then I dropped Matthew Liebertor when he got dropped back to AAA. I added Luke Voigt for a series in Colorado. More on that in a bit. I dropped Jesus Sanchez because he has the vid for Steve Cishek. Got me a relief appearance. Ross Stripling got dropped for his start in the Bronx, which was, I was never going to do that. Added Jorge Alfaro for a series in Colorado. I dropped Steve Cishek for Joe Bob Herget. I like that guy. I really like that guy. I dropped him and Jorge Alfaro on Sunday. 11 ads. Oh, you didn't even have the fact that I picked up Scott Efros right before midnight.
Oh, that was before the bell. Got it.
Yes, I added Efros before the bell. Or after the bell. So all 12 ads, 8 relievers, a starter, and 3 hitters. The MVP for the week is John Birdie. 333 average, 385 on base, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 7 steals. 7. Himself. 7 steals in 7 days. That's more than like half the league's teams had this week.
Yep.
I had 10 last week. My whole team had 10 last week.
2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Yeah, thanks. Juan Soto is my least valuable hitter this week. 095 with a 269, 3 runs, a homer, 3 RBIs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. He's hitting 218.
What?
He's hitting 218, and he leads the league in walks. So he's like a 370 on base percentage. You know what's going to happen, right? He is going to explode in the second half.
Yeah.
He might
100%.
finish the season hitting 270. But like
he did it last year, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly how last season went. We were all wondering what the hell happened to him last year, and he ended up hitting just 313 with a 465 on base percentage.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
He'll be
I'm not
fine.
worried about him. Cy Young goes to, hey Mike, how you feel about Jorge Lopez?
Yeah, it really burned me to pick him as your Cy Young this week. Really did.
5 1/3, 3 saves, 7 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 0.38 whip, and 4 relief appearances. What? Is this actually the closer of the future, or is this a dude who's going to get traded at the deadline?
I don't know. I hate this guy. I hate you for adding him.
Oh, my Cy Yuck, again, Justin Verlander. Like, if I could survive a week where he throws like 3 2/3 with a loss, 3 strikeouts, a 982 and a 245, and still win every single one of the pitching categories except innings, I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
Jason, on your bench this week, you went 8 for 40.
Okay, that's good. That's a 200.
We made things easy. Like, this has
Yes.
been a very easy show for this team.
Sorry,
200 with 4 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, a walk, and 10 strikeouts. You also had 4 2/3 innings, a loss, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 7.71 and a 1.93 WHIP, all on the bench. The homer and the 6 RBIs obviously would have played. Getting the Luis Robert 3 for 5 could have flipped batting average as well. So there
Yeah,
were some misses here.
I did not want to start him against Justin Verlander, and that backfired.
I did see that. It was just one of those weeks where like everything went
Anything I did was wrong.
wrong. Yeah. You dropped Adam Simber for Juan Yepes. That guy might not have a job in a week.
No, he's
And
not
he's good. Like, he's really good, but they just don't have room for him right now.
Nope.
You drop Bryson Stott for Ezekiel Duran. I think that's the guy who got you the triple, right?
Yeah,
Who?
Ezekiel Duran, the Z Morning Zoo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just a little middle infielder for the Rangers.
He tripled off Gregory Soto.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. You dropped Zach Thompson, the Cardinal you referenced earlier, for Jose Urquidy. You dropped Max Meyer for Josh Winkowski. He's not related to the monster from Monsters Inc. You dropped Zach Plesac for John Gray, Tony Santillan for Patrick Corbin, Juan Yepes for Orlando Arcia. I know Frank was pissed at that move.
I'm sure he was.
So mad. He's like, who picked up Arcia? Let's talk about Walker Buehler for a second here.
Yeah.
He's gone? Like, altogether?
Yeah. I'm hearing 10 to 12 weeks. Like, maybe he gets back for like the last week of the season, and then you have to make the playoffs or something like that. Right now, I'm on life support here. I can't sit around and wait for him.
All right.
Yeah. And
I have to respect it.
Is your IL filled up here?
Yeah, I got Suzuki and Whitlock.
Yeah.
And those guys at least will come back and contribute at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need every
What a
roster
blow.
spot you can get. It's terrible. You
Yeah.
know? And I don't know that anybody's just going to go out and roster this dude immediately, but
He's out there.
yikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've dropped him for Taylor Hearn. Patrick Corbin got dropped for Nomar Mazzara.
For a
then
series in
dropped,
Colorado.
Yep, for a series in Colorado. Somebody saw what I was doing and was like, oh shit, I got to get a piece of this.
Yeah, he didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, he did not.
Alfaro went 2 for 8. Like, it wasn't the best. It wasn't as good as the Marlins series. Like, that's
No.
Mazzara got dropped for Ken Giles, Taylor Hearn for Felix Bautista, and Yusei Kikuchi for Brooke Raley. Does it hurt to drop Kikuchi too?
Not as much, but I was certainly hoping for better things. But I was giving him a leash, and it just was getting worse and worse.
So you dropped him before this start against the Yankees.
Actually, I dropped him during it. I benched him for that start.
Oh, okay. And you saw what was happening. It was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched that game too, and he looked really uncomfortable. Like it was like 45 seconds between pitches. The guy didn't want to throw the ball.
Yeah. I'm done with him.
Yeah. Good call.
Your key players this week, Jason, we're going to talk about Corey Seager as your MVP. 348 with a 483, 6 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 4 RBIs, 6 walks, 3 strikeouts, and an error. Finally, this dude's doing something. We were talking about Whit Merrifield not doing much. Now Corey Seager hasn't been doing much for you.
Yeah. If only everybody could do something together.
Right.
Not just one week at a time.
Yeah.
And speaking of 1 week at a time, last week, Eugenio Suarez was pretty good. This week, Eugenio Suarez sucked. He went 3 for 23. That's a 130 with a 200 on base percentage with an RBI, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Cy Young, I love Logan Gilbert, and I'm so glad that you got a hold of him and that you hold on to him this season because he is a stud. 12 innings, a win, a loss, a homer, a walk, 12 strikeouts, a 150 and an 0.75. The Cy Young is that pickup from earlier, Taylor Hearn. Is he going to stick around on this team, or is he already gone?
He's already gone.
3 2/3, a loss, 2 homers, 4 strikeouts. 1964, the Nixon administration, and a 273 whip.
Yeah, that I got a little greedy because John Gray had pitched against the Tigers the day before, and he was really good. And I was like, well, the Tigers can't hit anything, so let me give another Rangers starter a shot, and that did not work.
I did the same thing with Dune Danning the next day, so don't feel bad.
Mike, you did the research on this one. You saw it as intimately as anybody else can. What did you see, man? What do we got here?
I saw from the beginning that this was just inevitable, and it's nothing against Jason's management. He did everything he could to try to fight back into this, and he actually did. He made it a lot closer in the end.
Yeah, there was a point it was like 15-6.
Yeah.
And that would have been a respectable fucking move at that point. Flipping 6 in a weekend, you give credit there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do give you credit. You kept fighting. If it were me, I'd probably shut my phone off and be like, you know what? I'm done with this week. But he kept fighting, and
I almost did.
Yeah, I know. And I was texting with both of you throughout the week, and all I got from Joe was nonstop guilt. Like, I hate this. I don't want to do this to Jason. And all I got from Jason was, I hate this. I don't know what to do. But it was sad. It was rough to watch, but like, we've all taken shellackings before, and you're going to keep fighting, and that's who you are.
And that's exactly it. I may be in 15th place here, but I'm not. I'm going to keep fighting, and I'm going to keep playing until the week says we're done.
And if it means you're going to have to ruin somebody's season in the second half, then so be it. Like, I know that you're going to play hard regardless of what the outcomes are.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't feel good about this. I never did this week. As soon as it opened up, and I was like, I think it was 13-3 on Monday. I was like, all right, it's Monday. The score doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday it was like 18-1, and then Wednesday it was like 21-0.
21-0. Yep.
And Thursday it was still 21-0.
Yeah.
And I think on Thursday is where I finally broke the silence between us, Jason. And I was like, dude, it's not gonna end this way, but I'm sorry. And any wrestling fans out there will understand this particular reference. And I made it to both of you. I've made it to a few others. I felt like Shawn Michaels in a match against Ric Flair at WrestleMania, where I sort of knew that if I win this large, I'm wrecking any chance you have at winning a championship.
Yeah.
And yet, I have to do this because I'm going for my 5th championship this year. So there's no way I can't do what I'm doing. And when Sunday's coming, I had to look across the ring from you and tell you, I'm sorry, I love you, and then kick your head off.
Yeah, and that's just it. Is I wouldn't want you to, play it any other way. I want you to play the way Joe plays, and that's so that's.
And here's the thing: when you were on that comeback trail on like Friday and Saturday, and I saw it getting evened out, and like I had a bad part from somebody, and I was like, okay, all right, the universe is gonna balance everything out here. We're gonna be okay. Like, nah, didn't happen. Yeah. When Verlander had the bad start on Saturday, and somebody else had a bad start on Friday, and I was like, yeah, Lopez had the bad start against the Mets on Friday. I was like, okay, he's back in this. Like, this could be competitive. I'm still gonna win, but this is gonna be competitive. Didn't happen.
Joe, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a manager in this league which manager in the league do you feel least guilty about shellacking 18-1?
You.
Really?
Wow. You, Ben, Jimmy, in that order.
Wow, me first, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Although it's very close between you and Ben, because Ben has knocked me out of the playoffs in 2 consecutive years that he's made it. So it's I might put Ben ahead of you now that I really think about it. It might be.
You didn't even have to think, though. That was reflex. You said my name.
Definitely those 3. You, Ben, and Jimmy in some order. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Is Jason at the top of the I feel most
I just
guilty
went
thing?
down the last 3 seasons of me beating the ever living shit out of Jason. I can let him win once, man. I'm not gonna. I don't want to do this again. Because when I was up 21-0, I'm like, all right, I feel like I've beaten Jason a couple of times. Is there a point where he's beat me in the recent past? And like, I went back 2 seasons, and when I saw what it was over the last 3 full years, or the 3 years, 2 full seasons, I was like, that's enough. Like, I don't even need to look at 2018, which is when I won the champions, or 2017 when I won the champions. Like, we don't got to go any further.
So Jason, would you feel any guilt doing that to Joe or no? At this point?
No,
You shouldn't.
Okay, good.
You fucking
wouldn't.
shouldn't.
No, but I would probably like have a parade.
Yeah.
Well, after what he said about me, I would attend that parade. So
It's just it was hard because I feel like Mike said, I feel like I did everything I could do. I feel like I did everything that I thought was right, and just nothing was working. Like,
yeah.
as much as something did work, like I had good weeks from guys, but like just ideas that I had, strategies I had just did not work.
Yeah.
And every time that I had a slip up, it wasn't bad enough.
No.
Yeah.
Like Verlander sucked, but not bad enough. And Lopez sucked, but not bad enough.
Yeah.
And I had 5 losses, but that wasn't bad enough. Like, it was just one of those weeks where the numbers just were that close and I won every single coin.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on now. The one-man ticker tape parade for me as I walk down the street like this is over. And we're going to talk about another great matchup for a team in the hunt. We're going to talk about Josh Haber getting a 13-7 win over Matt Losey. A great get-right week for Josh. On Sunday, Josh led by 2 walks, and Matt flipped that. Home runs given up. Matt was up by 1, and he flipped that the wrong way. And Josh was up by 7 strikeouts, and Matt flipped that. Close categories, Josh wins by 2 steals, the home run given up by a pitcher, and 12 ticks on the whip. For Matt, he wins by 2 walks, 8 ticks on the batting average, 6 strikeouts by a pitcher. They tied in triples. For Josh on the bench, Mike Haber, he went 9 for 25.
That is a 358.
360, my friend. Well done.
Oh my God, I'm killing it. Killing it.
Guys are on
this isn't
fire
hard.
this week. 4 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs, 7 strikeouts, a walk, and an error. Nothing plays, but could have had strikeouts by a pitcher or maybe lose his whip if he had played, Gore?
There were a few on Friday. He benched Daniel Lynch and Charlie Morton and Gore. So like you would have had the strikeouts, but you would have had the bad ERA, a bad whip. So
yeah, I don't think that's worth. I don't think that's worth playing. I mean, you're running a razor's thin chance there. For his moves this week, he drops Josh Lowe. Finally, for Alex Kirilloff. What?
he's back.
Oh, okay.
He is back now.
Sure. Trent Thornton gets dropped for Justin Steele. 7 innings, a no decision, 3 strikeouts, a 1.29, an 0.86 whip against San Diego. Justin Steele, underrated professional wrestling name. He dropped Justin Steele for Marco Gonzalez, 6 2/3, a loss, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 1.35, and 7.5. He drops Scott Efros for Nathaniel Lowe, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He drops Lane Thomas for Sam Long, 3 innings, nothing earned, 2 strikeouts against Kansas City. Alex Faedo gets dropped for Ryan Tepera, an inning, a strikeout, a 9 ERA, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. He drops Sam Long for Brooks Raley, an inning and 2/3, 2 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a relief appearance. He drops Brooks Raley for Daniel Lynch, 5 innings, a win, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, a 180, and a 120 at Oakland on the bench like we talked about. Dropped Nathaniel Lowe for Jesus Aguilar, and then dropped Aguilar because he's got the vid. He drops Daniel Lynch for Austin Nola. He drops Ryan Tepera for Tristan Casas into his NA spot. Everybody's loving on these Boston prospects, but they're not playing.
No.
No.
He dropped Austin Nola, who hit a home run that day for Dick Mountain. 12 innings, five batters, 5 starters, and 2 relievers. The MVP this week for Josh, however, is going to be a painful statement to make because he might not have him this week against me in Manny Machado. 370 with a 452, 7 runs, a double, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, hello, Jonathan India, 136 with a 208 on base, a double, 2 RBIs, 7 strikeouts, and 2 errors. No, that's bad.
Yikes.
The Cy Young, Camilo Duvall, 4 innings, 3 saves, a walk, and 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 050 whip, and 4 relief appearances. The Cy Young is Alex Faedo, 3 innings, a loss, 2 homers, a walk, 5 strikeouts, a 21, and a 333. On the other side, Mike goes 9 for 32.
Okay, so that would be 290.
281.
All right.
We're in the ballpark.
In the ballpark.
4 runs, a double, a homer, 7 RBIs, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts. None of it plays. His moves this week, he dropped the freight train David Peralta for Jalen Cheeks Beeks. 2 innings, no decision, a strikeout, nothing earned against the Yankees. He then dropped Darren Ruff for Lane Thomas, who went 1 for 10 with a double, an RBI, and 3 strikeouts. He dropped Luis Urias for Danny Mendick, 1 for 3 with a run and a strikeout. And dropped Jesus Luzardo for Brian Shaw. He also dropped Keegan Aiken, who threw 2 scoreless innings of relief with 3 strikeouts. 4 moves, 2 batters, a starter, and a reliever. His MVP this week is Xander Bogaerts, 500 with a 538, 4 runs, 3 doubles, 4 RBIs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, Salvi Perez, hurts, but
Yeah.
I guess it does have to be that guy. 167 with a 231, 2 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Logan Webb. 7 innings, a win, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a 1.14 whip. The Cy Young, hey, remember this guy named Jeffrey Springs that you traded him? He has been really good.
Yeah.
Just not in this start against the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
What? 4 1/3, a walk, 6 strikeouts, an 831, and a 185. It just sounds like he got dinked and dunked and singled to death.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he
That
did.
happens. That shit happens.
Yeah.
Let's discuss this one, gentlemen. Mike, how is Josh feeling after a big win this week?
I think he's happy. I think he'll take it. With some of those benchings, he said to me, do you think I overmanaged a little bit? And I was like, I honestly don't. I think you managed well. Like you had some of those categories locked up. ERA was close. So like I think he played it pretty well, and like taking the win versus like going for the big win. We've talked about this before, but like knowing when to have that restraint, and I think he played it well. There's that added pressure of you're playing this team that's in the lower echelon of teams, like you should win big, but like a 13-7 that's fine. Like I think any of us would take that any week against any manager.
Mhm.
And especially like Matt has been playing well lately. Like his pitching was great this week. He just was up against Josh's pitching.
I mean,
So
a
like
331 will play most weeks. He only gave up 5 homers. He had a good pitching week.
yeah.
Josh was just a little bit better. Sometimes you just have to go, all right, that's baseball,
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to tell a quick story about this because Matt and I had a couple of adult beverages and we're sitting down to talk, and he turns to me and he's like, all I had to do was just add relief pitchers and it's just turned my whole season around. I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that a little bit. And we sat there on our adult beverages and we analyzed our trade from a couple weeks ago and how much it's actually like helped him like turn his season around. He's not going to make the playoffs, but
No, but he dug himself out of the basement.
dug himself out
He's
of the
not the
basement.
worst team in the league anymore.
He's not. And
Like that's the
Jeffrey's.
first. That's the first thing as a rookie manager you want to do is not be the worst team in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, don't embarrass
Jeffrey-
yourself. That's all it is.
Jeffrey Springs, Michael Waka have both been great for him.
Yeah.
Anthony Bender is hopefully coming back for him.
Okay.
Wait, his bullpen is going to get even better because Chris Sale, I think, is going to be in that bullpen.
Interesting. If
Chris
they actually
Sale is
do
coming.
that and go forward, all of a sudden he's got a very nice piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he give up in that trade? JD Martinez, Gleyber
And Gleyber.
Torres,
And
Who
Trevor
was it?
Rogers, who's
Oh,
been
who
a
doesn't matter.
disaster. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's essentially just 2 offensive pieces.
Yeah.
Hey, it has dug him out of the basement, and you know what? He's gonna play spoiler the rest of the season here. Yeah. Don't finish last is the goal for Matt Losi this year. It was the same goal that Frank had in 2018. It's the same goal that like a lot of rookies have had when they come into this league. Okay, it's going to be overwhelming, but don't embarrass yourself. Don't be that guy who finishes last.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going forward for these two guys, Matt gets some more guys he could possibly spoil. I mean, he's got Jimmy Dunlap this week, then me next week, and Costas in week 13, and Ari in week 14.
Oh,
If he's
wow.
looking down the schedule, how does he feel about this right now?
Jason, you want to take this one?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that is spoiler central right there. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he can go in there and especially if these guys are having the same mentality that I had and maybe Josh had too, that thinking Matt is more of a pushover, they're gonna be upset when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, could he go 0-4 in those matchups? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Could he
but
go
even- but
1?
even-
But if he puts 1 together,
Yeah,
it affects the outcome of these playoffs.
Yeah.
As for Josh, now Josh has the interesting schedule here. He's got me this week after my big win over Jason. He's got Costas next week in a guy who's hungry to try to make the playoffs and might be showing a bit of desperation. More on that in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets Ari and Frank. These are all hungry teams who are chasing him down for his playoff spot. He sits in the 5 hole as the back end of now what I'm calling the upper echelon. It's the top 5 teams and then the pack. Mike, how do you feel when you look at this for your brother as a schedule going forward?
The only concern I have is that Josh's team runs through Vlad and Machado. And if Vlad and Machado are not being Vlad and Machado, or one of them's injured, that's scary for me. And he got good production from both of them this week.
Mm-hmm.
And look what happened. He had a double up win. So it does make me a little bit nervous that he's going into these hungry manager matchups with potentially Machado being out. Hopefully it's not a long-term thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he's really impressed me this year. He's impressed me with a pitching staff that is not too scary, and somehow he's competing in pitching categories every week. So he's got the restraint. He knows when to bench and when to play, and it's not always about the players. And I know Ben has said that a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
just because his pitching staff is not great, he knows how to manage them. So
yeah, it's just bizarre. I look at the offense and it's Vlad, Springer, Machado, and friends.
and friends. Friends.
About the next best player is Jonathan India. And then what? Alex Verdugo?
Austin Hayes has been pretty nice for him this year.
Yeah, who would have thought Austin Hayes would have 9 dingers at this point?
Right.
He could have 25 this year. That'll be very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good team, and he's going to compete. He's playing his ass off this season.
He
It's
is.
going to be really fun to watch. Really.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup here, gentlemen. We're going to kick it off here with what might also be one of the surprising wins this week. However, I think it's something we kind of saw coming, and that this might be the beginning of a run as Frank Bucco takes down a 12-6 win over Christian Wood this week.
Yeah.
On Sunday, Christian had a 1 triple lead, and Frank got that. Let me tell you how much he gloated about that. Christian also had a 2 walk lead, and Frank flipped that.
Nice.
Christian had a 1 strikeout lead, and Frank flipped that. And Christian had a 79 tick lead in the ERA, and Frank flipped that.
Wow.
So Frank wins by 12 ticks on the ERA, Christian by the save and 6 ticks on the whip. These guys tied in triples, steals, and losses. On his bench this week, Jason, Frank goes 5 for 19.
5 for 19. Okay, well, 5 for 20 is 1 for 4, so 250. So 270.
263. We're in the
Okay.
ballpark. 2
Okay.
runs, a double,
nice.
2 RBIs, and 6 strikeouts. None of it plays. His moves
Well done.
this week, he dropped Aaron Savale for Mike Soroka. I just want to scream Homer and hope for the best. Like,
Scream it.
Homer pick! Dropped Anthony Santander for Trent Grisham, who went 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Dropped Tyler Wells for Hunter Strickland to drop Matt Foster. He dropped Luke Voigt, who went 2 for 6 with 2 runs, a double, a homer, and 5 RBIs and 2 strikeouts the day he got dropped.
Ooh.
Yikes. Glad that didn't come back to realistically. Like, he won all the categories that I just listed off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt him, but yikes. Especially when he was about to go into Coors for a series.
Oops.
He dropped Trent Grisham for Chad Kuhl, and then texted me the morning that Chad Kuhl was to start in Colorado against the Indians and said, "Hey man, would you start him?"
So what'd you say, Joe?
He's calling me right now.
Oh,
It's
is
like
he?
I summoned him.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
I summoned him.
Does he have any starters going? Maybe it's he's got
Maybe.
questions.
Maybe. He then dropped Chad Kuhl for Harold Castro, and Chad Kuhl did pitch well, but again, didn't matter in the long run. He dropped Harold Castro for Zach Thompson, 4 1/3, a loss, 2 homers, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 4.15, and a 2.08 whip. He's gone to this dude on the Pirates a couple of times now, and sometimes it's worked. Obviously not this time very well.
Yeah.
He added Paulo Espino, 5 innings, a homer, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 360, and a 140. He added Bailey Falter. What? Who?
No, I don't know.
5 innings, 2 dingers, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 540, and a 120. He dropped all 3 of those guys I just mentioned for Braxton Garrett, 4 innings, a loss, a homer, 2 walks, 675, and a 175. He then dropped Braxton Garrett for Mitch Keller, 6 innings, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 150, and a 1 whip, and added David Peterson, Tyler Wells, and Imitation Knife Fight.
Invitation.
All for Monday. His
Okay.
MVP this week, we're going to call Michael Harris to Electric Boogaloo the champion this week. 375 at a 400, 5 runs, a double, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Josh Rojas. 1 1/4, 175 on the on-base percentage, 2 runs, 2 steals, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. The Cy Young, the curse of the SP2 is all but slayed at this point from him. Yu Darvish, 8 innings, a win, a homer, 7 strikeouts, a 1.13, and an 0.63. On the season, Darvish has a 3.35, an 0.97 whip, and 61 strikeouts across 75 and a third. It was his SP2. As long as there isn't an injury in the second half that ruins it, I think we can call the curse of the SP2 dead.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish I had this production from him last year.
The Cy Yuck is going to be Braxton Garrett, 4 innings, a loss, a homer, 2 walks, 6.75, and a 1.75. Look, dude pitched to a 2.88. It was a really good week for him.
Yeah.
For Christian on his bench this week, Jason, he is 9 for 48.
Two 12s.
188. If you went 12 points in the opposite direction, you would have nailed it.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to do that. We're still on fire.
Nice.
4 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 8 RBIs, a steal, 7 walks, and 6 strikeouts. That is the difficult part here, is because the steals matter and 7 walks on the bench hurts. The steal, where is that steal? It was on the 17th, on Friday. And what do we have on the bench? Well, here's the steal from Josh Naylor, whom he traded for. But he didn't get a hit and a walk, an RBI. Like, do you put him in for Tellez for the hit? You're certainly not putting him in for Harper. Gorman didn't have a hit either, but he's been good. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's the steal, though. That's how that would have had to get in.
Mm.
The walks are all over the place. I mean, there were 7 of them over a 7-day week. So 1 a day. If you just find one of those, that'll be great. His transactions this week, he dropped Jose Trevino for Christian Bethencourt, 1 for 4. He dropped Bruce Zimmerman for Adam Frazier and benched him. He dropped Alex Vesia for Bo Brisky. Bo Fresh Brisky.
Ooh.
Louisiana Brisky.
Yeah, I could go for that.
Yeah, right. That guy went 7 innings, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, and 0.71 whip. I could go for that.
Did he really? Wow.
He was good. He then dropped Bo Brisky for Luis Sessa, an inning, a homer, a walk, a strikeout, 9 ERA, 2 whip, and a relief appearance. He dropped Jeremy Pena, who has a thumb thing, and who knows how long he's going to be out, but the kid has been really good so far for the Houston Astros. Somebody snagged him off of waivers. Raise your hand if you did it. That's this guy. He dropped him for Dylan Bundy. 8 innings, a win, 7 strikeouts, a 1.13 ERA, and a 0.50 whip. What?
I hate that guy.
Dylan Bundy.
Fuck this guy. Fuck Dylan Bundy.
Yeah.
He dropped
Agreed.
Dylan Bundy the next day for Caleb Thielbar, 2/3 of an inning, a homer, 2 walks, a strikeout, a 54 ERA, and a 7.50 whip. Not great.
No, bad.
Nope. Dropped Luis Sessa for Noe Ramirez, 2/3 of an inning, a walk, 3 whip, and a relief appearance. And finished out the week by dropping Christian Bethencourt for Cal Raleigh, over 3 with a strikeout. His MVP this week is going to be Adalis Garcia, 330. That's on Friday. I did not move it back to the matchup totals, so we're going to go to the matchup totals. Here we go. Adalis Garcia, 333 average, 345 on base, 7 runs, a double, a triple, a homer, 5 RBIs, 2 steals, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Miles Straw, 071 with a 133 on base, a double, a walk, 7 strikeouts. The Cy Young is Shane Bieber, 13 innings, 2 homers, 2 walks, 16 strikeouts, a 346 and a 138, and 2 no decisions. That's annoying. And one was in Colorado, the other was in LA against the Dodgers. If that's not a dangerous double start, I don't know what is.
And he survived it.
And he survived it, but didn't get any wins out of it. So the Cy Yuck is Kevin Gossman. 2 1/3, a loss, a walk, 3 strikeouts, the stock market crash, and a 343 on the whip. It was a rough week for the rookie. The rookie has taken a couple of beatings here now recently, and all of a sudden he's lost 4 in a row after 5 of his first 6 wins. So obviously something is going on with this team, and I don't know what the slide is about. I don't really care, because now he's back in 6th and is the top of the pack for the 6th spot. He has the largest target on him right now. Yeah. Mike Haber, you're chasing him right now. And what do we owe this slide over the last weeks?
That's a great question. Is it like a little bit of beginner's luck and how he got started in the season? I don't know. But yeah, some of his hot players have come down a little bit. He made a couple trades. I'm not sure if that really threw a wrench in anything. Liam Hendricks is injured. Mm-hmm. So there have been some minor bumps in the road as far as, and Corey Knebel kind of lost his job. Like at one point,
Kendall Graveman to cover Hendricks. So
yeah. But at one point he sort of had this like dominant looking team, and at this point, like, it just doesn't look the same, even offensively. Like Bryce Harper is always going to be Bryce Harper. But then what? Like, who is the like Nolan Arenado is good.
Nolan Arenado has to be the number 2 on this team now.
Yeah.
And after that, you're right. There are a lot of questions. What do you got, Jason?
I feel like, not to put a whole lot of stock in this guy, but I feel like his season has gone with Taylor Ward, right? The guy got off to like an incredible start this season, like a bat out of hell, and so did Christian. And then he got hurt, and now he's, has not been playing well. And like I don't know if that's it, but it's kind of funny to see how that's like, it's like a mirror, like between this guy, came out of nowhere, and so did Christian, came out of nowhere, and now they're both kind of falling back to earth.
Yeah.
It's been a rough month for him, man. Like, you look back at the schedule here, and his schedule has been great for the first, like I said, 6 weeks. He was killing it. Win over Jimmy, lost to Ben, wins over Bobby, Jason, Josh, and Matt Losi. Every single one of those wins has double-digit wins and no more than 8 losses.
Yeah.
So it was a great run for him. But here recently, 9-11 to me, 15-6 to Costas, 11-8 to Ari, and now this 12-6 to Frank. And it doesn't get any easier, because now that you've got the target on your back, Brian Lebo, Mike Sherman, Mike Haber, and then Chris Levy. This could be the team that falls out. It really could. And it makes that 6th spot so interesting now.
Yeah, because like you said, there are so many teams just right there in the hunt for that. Mm-hmm. And this is not the time that you want to be that cold team that's fallen out of it. So,
and all of a sudden, guys, don't look down. But here comes Frank Bucco. Listen, back in week 6, he took a 13-6 win over Mike Sherman. He tied Mike Haber 10-10, took a dump trucking from Chris Levy 2 weeks ago, right? 14-3, like, he got dump trucked by the first place team. But a 12-9 win over McCloskey, now a 12-6 win here over Christian. He gets Ben this week, and then Bobby, Jason, and Josh. I think this is also the time, much like it is for you, Mike, to hit the gas pedal or it's over.
Yep. He could do it. I think he could take 3 out of 4.
If he beats Ben,
I can see it.
That will be such a bump in confidence.
Yeah.
If he's able to somehow beat Ben this week.
Yeah.
And look, he's done it before. He's beaten Ben in the past.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is one of those one-sided matchups. This is going to be a fun matchup.
Looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. Do we see anything on his team that could be improved upon, or something that he should be looking at, or any concerns here? Tim Anderson looks like he's coming back today.
He's coming back. That's where I was going to go. I know he's had this, kind of this carousel of shortstops, to kind of fill that gap with Anderson being out. He tried imitation knife fight. He got hurt. He tried Harold Castro. He's hurt.
And Andres Jimenez has been performing for him. So I would imagine that now he and Josh Rojas basically split second base in matchups, and there's not a whole lot to do here.
No.
Haber, do you like this pitching?
Yeah, I love his starting pitching. The fact that he's got Taiwan Walker, Dylan Cease, and those are not his top 2 starters, so that's pretty impressive. I imagine that, and I don't imagine, because it actually did happen, but he will be trying to trade for some relief. I know it's going to happen, but it makes sense for him. Makes sense for his team at this point.
Totally. I know a guy with 5 closers.
Do you?
Yeah. I look at him every day in the mirror.
Oh, cool.
I look forward to seeing how Frank does this, because this is going to be a really fun run to watch this summer, and he's going to be in the thick of this. And I picked him to go to the playoffs this year. So if he goes on a run here, he could make that happen. He's not that far out. He's 29 games out. The 6th place team is 22 and a half out. He's less than 7 games out. 6.5 back. This is absolutely doable.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just has to keep, just don't fall into, the trap.
Don't panic. I
Yeah.
think that's the best thing we're going to say.
Yeah.
Don't panic.
Yeah.
And do something rash and trade something off immediately. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We're going to move on to the final matchup of the week, gentlemen. It feels like this week is flying by. But we're going to talk about Bobby Russo getting right after his loss last week, taking down a 12-7 win over Costas Paragas. On Sunday, doesn't look like much happened there. Well, yeah, it did actually. Bobby flips innings pitched and whip. So innings pitched untied. Whip was tied, and Bobby got that one. Unties wins, he gets that one. And ties up stolen bases. Very nice. Yeah. Very well done.
Yeah.
For Bobby, close categories. For Bobby, he wins by a triple. He wins by 4 walks. He wins by 6 innings that we mentioned. 2 wins on Sunday. 2 saves. 2 ticks on the whip from Sunday, and 2 relief appearances. That's an interesting week when you're up against Costas. We'll get to that. For Costas, he won by 1 home run given up by a pitcher and 1 strikeout. They tied in steals and errors. On Bobby's bench this week, Mike Haber, he goes 11 for 52.
All right. So that is a 219.
212. Got there. With 5 runs, 3 doubles, 2 RBIs, a steal that would have won the category, 4 walks and 13 strikeouts. The steal is on Saturday, and realistically, I don't know that you're going to get Cedric Mullins in here. Oh, that's Bobby. Wait, Bobby's team. I'm not sure that you're getting Odubel Herrera in here, but I know Mookie Betts was put on the IL right before the game, and this was the night game. Am I right by saying that?
On Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, because he was put on the IL on this date.
Yeah,
that sucks. That really does suck for him too.
Yeah, the Phillies played well before the Dodgers, so
there's no way you're getting that in there.
Yeah.
His moves this week: he dropped John Gray for Odubel Herrera 1 for 3. Dropped Sean Murphy for Raimel Tapia 2 for 4 with a run, a double, and 2 RBIs. And then dropped Raimel Tapia on Saturday. 2 moves, both hitters. His key players this week. We'll start with Wilson Contreras, 379 with a 400 on base, 5 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, a steal, and 5 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, hello, Eduardo Escobar, with no hits, a strikeout and an error. Ew. He had been like 0 for a long time.
Yeah. He finally got one today.
11. Yeah, look at this. That's gross.
Damn.
Yeah.
The Cy Young goes to Tyler Molly. First time we're saying his name. Complete game, 12 strikeouts, nothing earned, 0.33 whip. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yep.
The Cy Yuck is Kyle Finnegan, 2 2/3, a homer, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a 10-13, and a 150. For Costas on his bench, Mike Haber, he went 7 for 33.
Ugh, that's a weird one. So that is gonna be that's a 219.
It's also a 212.
Damn it.
3 runs, 3 RBIs that would have flipped the category, but he would have had to be perfect to get them in. 3 walks and 11 strikeouts. His moves: he drops Jose Quintana for Matt Moore. He adds Evan Phillips, then drops Andre Palante for Rafael Ortega, over 4 with 2 strikeouts. He drops Matt Reynolds for Luis Guillorme, 2 for 4. Drops Ortega for Tyler Rogers, who was awful again on Sunday. He dropped Ryan Feltner for Cionel Perez, a 1/3 of an inning, a strikeout, a 6 whip, and a relief appearance. He drops Jonah Heim, the catcher that he was trying to trade me for Adley Rutschman, for 2 for 4 with a run, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, and a walk the day he dropped him. For Garrett Richards and his junk balls. His seven moves used, 2 batters and 5 relievers. His most valuable hitter this week is Brendan Donovan. 387 with a 457, 7 runs, 5 doubles, 7 RBIs, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts with an error. The least valuable hitter is Trevor Story, wherever he is. Did he
He's
drop him?
He
Oh, he
he's
got traded.
traded.
He got traded.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay. 125 with a 176, 3 runs, a homer, an RBI, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. The Cy Young is Tyler Anderson, 8 1/3, a win, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, a 108, and 0.36 whip. Nasty.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
Cy Young is Joe Ryan, 4 2/3, a loss, 2 homers, a walk, 3 strikeouts, 7.71, and a 1.29 whip. All right. Bobby gets another close win, just like he does. And Costas starts to slip again. Now, this week was a lot closer than this final score does play
Yes.
because Bobby
Mhm.
got a bunch of categories late. Otherwise, it would have been something like 10-9 or 10-8. Jason, you did the research on this one. Anything that we are seeing that we should be concerned about with either of these teams?
Yeah, that's what it was. You know, it was very close all week until Sunday. I mean, and for a while, Costas was winning this matchup for most of the week. You know, I just wonder if and I think we've seen this a couple of times with Bobby. Like if he's trying also like over managing with the benching of the relief pitchers, like because he could have had strikeouts. That's another stat. He lost that by 1, and he had I think it was like 3 relief outings that he benched. None of them were particularly great, but like
But 1 strikeout flips that category and then makes
yeah,
13-6, which is a whole hell of a lot different than 12-6.
Yep.
yeah. And again, didn't do much with his ads. I just wonder if there's something else that he could have done. But he got the win.
I don't know.
And he
Hey.
like you said, he got right.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby needed this win. Mike, let's talk about that trade that just went through here this morning. Trevor Story coming off of Costas Paragas' team for David Bednar?
Okay, about the trade itself, I actually don't think it's too extreme. David Bednar's been awesome,
Yeah.
so I'll give him that.
I'm gonna
But-
just pull up his fucking stats.
Yeah,
This is nasty.
he's been awesome, and he came in and he just took this job from Chris Stratton and
Mhm.
claimed it, and it's his now. So I don't think that it's so wild, the trade, but I do want to. Okay, you draft a lot of closers, you trade all your closers for hitters, and now you're trying to get closers back, and you're trading away those hitters, including Cedric Mullins, who was not traded this week, but was almost traded this week
Mhm.
to multiple managers.
Uh-huh.
So I look at Costas' team right now, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
He hit 317 this week, so like, awesome. You got 18 doubles, awesome. But you hit 2 home runs. I don't understand his team. Maybe that's the issue. Is I just don't understand.
It's very difficult to figure out exactly what he values at this point because, yeah, at the end of April and the beginning of May, and even into the middle of May, for the first 6 weeks, it was, all right, sell off the closers, get the bat because we need the bats. And now this happens. And I'm just not quite sure I understand.
Last year I kept kind of referring to him as like, Little Frank. And, I kind of see that, like I think he needs to, if he's going to continue being Little Frank, take a page out of his 2022 book and see what he's doing now,
Mhm.
because he's not panicking. He's not selling off his team. He's not going back and forth with all these different positions. He's staying true to what he drafted, and Costas should probably be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I can agree with at least that statement. It's just interesting that this is how this season has played out for the guy who went to the finals last year. And
Yeah.
we saw a lot of savvy moves from him last year and gave him a ton of credit for it. The Narisford Logan Webb trade comes immediately to mind.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like that kind of move, though. And yeah, Trevor Story's hitting 221, but 10 homers and 8 steals, you're not going to get that from many times.
Yeah.
Not this far.
I mean, so then you're basically, I mean, look, Brendan Donovan had a great week, but that's who you're relying on now for your, middle infield position instead of Trevor Story.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe Chris Taylor plays into
Maybe
that
Chris Taylor.
role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle Farmer probably somehow plays into that role.
But like, are any of those guys, better than Trevor Story enough to pick up
No.
David?
No. Is David
No.
Bednar better than Trevor Story enough to warrant this? No. Is
Yeah.
is David Bednar and Chris Taylor better than Trevor Story at this point? I don't know the answer to that one.
The only thing I can see is if the Pirates decide that they can get value for Bednar and trade him to a real team.
And then he closes on that real team.
Yeah, he has to close on the real team.
Yeah.
So, like, if the Angels go out and get him, does he close over Iglesias? That would be a question.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Atheist,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who else would be competing that could potentially? If Seattle went and got him, would he close over Diego Castillo?
And
Maybe.
Paul Sebald and Ken Giles. And, I mean, they have, like...
Exactly. I don't think they're doing that.
Boston?
Does he close over Chris Sale?
Maybe.
You could
Chris
probably
Sale's the
just
closer.
deploy Chris Sale as a weapon once a week. Like, go out and throw 4.
Yeah.
End of that week, go out and throw me 2 more.
Yeah.
The Phillies?
I mean, yes, he would start in Philadelphia because everyone's trash there.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a member of the Philadelphia Phillies and you live in Philadelphia, you're trash. That's a trash city. And I'm not saying that with any kind of sarcasm. I mean this sincerely. Philadelphia is a trash city.
So we're sorry if any of you are from Philly that are listening to this.
I'm not. You live in Philly. It's your life choice. You're
City
making
of
poor
Brotherly
life
Crack.
choices. That's on you. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about Bobby's team here. And Bobby got himself a really great get-right win and sticks right in the Bob spot at number 7. Like, this is where we can pin Bobby to be for the rest of the season. Just sitting right there going, somebody fuck up in the final weeks. Right? It's what he's done for 3 full seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
He got it in 2019 by doing this. He didn't make it barely in 2021. This is what he's going to do. And he's just going to wait and see what happens. He's a game and a half out.
Yeah.
This is another team that I just straight up don't understand. I don't understand this team. For me, this is like matchup of the week because it's like 2 enigmas just like butting heads. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the consistency is admirable for Bobby, that he's just like middle of the road every year, figures out how to do it. I think you want more from Nick Castellanos at this point. Yeah. I think you want more from Eduardo Escobar at this point.
Javi Baez.
Yeah.
Javi Baez is a fucking mess. He's hitting 194, 4 homers, 18 RBIs, and 3 steals. How many strikeouts does he have, you asked? 55 in 206 at-bats.
How many walks?
10.
That's miserable. That's like AAA.
Yes, he's bad.
That's barely even rosterable.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Realistically, what were you expecting? He hit 31 home runs last year and stole 28 bases. That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And he hit 299 while on the Mets, 248 on the Cubs. I think that averages out somewhere in the 260s.
Okay.
But you're just not getting any of that.
I mean, the 3 steals, 2 of them came this week. So he had 1 coming into this week.
Coming into the week.
Yeah.
He's been really bad. Now, is that a buy low candidate? I don't know. Could Bobby even get anything for him right now? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, trade him like a waiver wire pickup.
Then like you'd have to replace him with somebody on your roster that plays short, and Tommy Edmonds the only one left. Now Tommy Edmonds having a great year.
Yeah.
I think if I'm Bobby, I would really contemplate the idea of moving Javi Baez for whatever you can get playing Eduardo Escobar, Tommy Edman, and Mookie Betts as a rolling rotation of second and short. And utility. But
Yeah.
what would you target if you're him? Is it relief?
He's got Emmanuel Clase.
He's got Clase, he's got Diekman, and he's got the Washington situation.
Yeah.
Like, if you could pick one piece to put onto this team to help him, where are you putting it?
Look, I still think there's a lot riding on Tyler Mahle at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Woodruff hurt, it's Alcantara and then Friends, and it's Emmanuel Clase and Friends. So like, it's got to be an arm. I'm not sure what's more of a priority here, a starter or a reliever. I think you need another starter.
Yeah, I think trying to move Javi Baez for a decent middle to back end of the rotation starter that you would trust going forward. That maybe
Yeah.
you don't start him every week, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
You could get something for the name of Javi Baez though.
Yeah. Like there's somebody who's playing some shit second baseman right now that's like, you know what? I could totally give up my 4 starter for Javi Baez and hope he pans out.
Yeah.
The question I would have is who do you trade him to? Because while Bobby's in that hunt, I don't think you would want to trade him to somebody in that hunt group too.
Right.
You know,
That's
the last
tough
thing
'cause
you want
there's-
is that guy making it in because he had Baez.
Yeah, there's just so many teams in the hunt. You're limiting yourself to trade with what, like 6 teams?
either the top group or the bottom group. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
you're either helping the rich or poaching from the poor. Like that's right. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the final matchup of the week, and it is another rivalry from a workplace as Brian Lebo takes on James McCloskey here. And McCloskey's able to take down an 11-9 victory here. On Sunday, we had Brian Lebo having a 2-home run lead, and James tied that up. Close categories this week. James wins by 4 doubles, 2 walks, 2 saves. He wins by 1 strikeout by a pitcher and 2 relief appearances, and 8 ticks on the whip. Lebo wins by 2 RBIs, 3 steals, a walk given up by a pitcher, and they tied in that home runs given up by a batter. For McCloskey on his bench, Jason, 14 for 56.
Good luck.
$243.
250. It's an even quarter, but that was pretty damn good.
Okay.
8 runs, 4 homers, 9 RBIs, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts, and an error. The homers and RBIs would have mattered, but that's about it. Actually, the homer is the only one that matters. The 4 home runs. We had Avisail Garcia on the bench and Robbie Grossman on Tuesday. Is that the one we're looking at here, Mike?
Yeah.
This first one. So we're talking about this Avisail Garcia, who went 2 for 5, a homer, a double, 2 runs, and 2 strikeouts. And we're putting him in for Nelson Cruz, who didn't have a hit, for Robbie Grossman, who went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Yikes. And all weekend, he should have been playing Hunter Renfroe, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see what Saturday happened here. Here's Renfroe with a dinger, 1 for 5 and 2 strikeouts. And then on Sunday, same story, Hunter Renfroe again, 1 for 4 with a 2-run homer, a walk, and a strikeout. That's rough.
Yeah.
You tie that category and you've left those on your bench. That hurts.
Yeah.
His moves this week, and we will talk about Robert Suarez getting dropped for Jonathan Scope. He dropped Gio Urshela for Jose Iglesias in Colorado. He dropped Francisco Mejia for Vidal Brujan. He dropped Jose Iglesias in Colorado for Kyle Higashioka. He dropped Vidal Brujan for Brandon Crawford. He dropped Mitch Garver for Francisco Mejia, and he dropped Kyle Higashioka for Andre the Giant Palante.
Very nice.
7 ads, 6 hitters, and a starter. For Lebo on his bench, Mr. Ashby, didn't have anything on his bench. He did not have anything on his bench.
I know this one. 0.
Zeros!
Yay!
Congratulations, Brian. You did not have a single stat on the bench. Good job. His
Yep.
moves this week. He used all 12 and still didn't have anything on his bench. Art Warren gets dropped for Chris Martin. Max Kepler gets dropped for Joe Kelly. Chris Martin and Chris Stratton for Phil Bickford and Art Warren. Cole Sulcer for Ralph Garza Jr., Art Warren for Brent Suter, Phil Bickford for Andres Munoz, Brent Suter for Jose Alvarez, Ralph Garza Jr. for Sean Murphy, that's the first position player, Sean Murphy for Luke Weaver, and he added whatever the hell an estuary Ruiz is. I've never heard of the guy. He then dropped Luke Weaver for Ivan Herrera, all 12, 8 relievers, a starter, and 3 hitters, and he only had 12 relief appearances.
And I feel like all these guys that like these are Lebo's guys, like the Art Warrens, the Phil Bickfords, the Chris Martins, like they live and die on his
Brent
team.
Suter is absolutely his guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Like every single one of these guys, I don't think anybody else wants to touch, and yet he somehow has this just rolling rotation with free agency of like, okay, that guy goes down, all right, thank you, all right, next guy goes down, all right. Like it's a nice system. I just don't understand how it only equated to 12 this week when you picked up 8 of them.
I don't understand that either. Did he drop them after they like didn't pitch one day? You know what I mean? Like
Art Warren got him a third of an inning and was disgusting.
Yeah.
Weaver was bad. Martin was bad. Munoz was good.
Awesome.
Stratton was fine. Like, I mean, he took a loss, but you know, Suter's still on the team. Kelly's still on the team. Like, it is a very large rotation of guys, and basically the only guy who's safe, it feels like, is Genesis Cabrera.
Ugh, I hate that guy.
Yes. I think your stove is preheated, Mr. Haber.
Yeah, thank you.
Key players this week, we shall start with Mr. McCloskey, who won the week, and we're going to talk about Ryan Mountcastle. 367 average, 387 on base, 7 runs, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 8 RBIs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. We're going to talk about his worst hitter, and that is Nelson Cruz. 133 with a 235, 3 runs, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 4 walks, but 11 strikeouts is ugly. Yeah, it's like his only hits were those doubles this week, it seems. His Cy Young is Robbie Ray, reigning AL Cy Young Award winner. 7 innings, a win, a walk, 10 strikeouts, a 1.29 and an 0.57. That start came at home against the Angels. Very nice. Very nice. His Cy Young is Michael Givens, 2 1/3, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 15.43 and a 3.43 across 3 relief appearances. Nice. For Lebo, his MVP is CJ Cron. 360 with a 346, 6 runs, a double, a triple, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, and 6 strikeouts. He traded Jose Abreu away to play this guy. Essentially, it's this guy and Hosmer the reason that he doesn't have Abreu anymore. Mm-hmm. And if this is what you get from when this guy is in Colorado, you take it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you could find the platoon, he found the platoon to play with the guy when he's not in Colorado. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Would it be better with Abreu?
Mm-hmm.
Dalton Varsho is the least valuable hitter, 200 with a 200 on base, a run, a double, and 4 strikeouts. The Cy Young, Carlos Rodon. Welcome back to the conversation here, Mr. Rodon. You had a really nice week for yourself. 8 innings, a win, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, nothing earned, and an 0.50 whip. The Cy Young is that Luke Weaver guy. 3 2/3, a loss, a homer, a walk, 5 strikeouts, 22.09 and a 3. Not good. Not good at all.
No.
You guys are literally 2 members of that chase pack that we've been talking about all episode, and runs from 7th to essentially 12th with Bobby all the way back to Costas, and Mike, you're the next one up there. But these are 2 of the guys that are in this chase and will be all season. Mm-hmm. If one of them is going to make it, which one do you think it's going to be, and why Jason Ashby?
Oof, that's tough. I feel like, from what I've seen, I feel like they're kind of similar in their management style. You know, maybe leaving stuff on the Lebo didn't leave anything on the bench this week, so I guess there's that. But just the revolving door of those 4 or 5 relievers we talked about. It's tough.
It is.
I
know.
gotta go with. I think I gotta go with Lebo. I think I gotta give Lebo the edge here, like just because I feel like he's gonna make the moves. He's gonna make it happen. He's there. He's on it every single day. Doesn't miss anything. So I think if I had to give him an edge, it'd have to be to Lebo.
Mike, are you with him on that?
I'm giving the edge to Lebo for a couple of reasons. Number one, the quad of Jordan Alvarez, Bo Bichette, CJ Crone, and Rafael Devers. Those four are going to carry him through for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other reason is the Ozzy Albies injury for McCloskey, which I think is going to be pretty detrimental. Even with getting Trevor Story now, but still, that Ozzy Albies production from second base is going to be missed big time.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go on the other side of this, guys, and say McCloskey. And here's why. When I look up and down the lineup that Brian Lebo puts out most days, I don't like the second baseman in Owen Miller. I'm not exactly thrilled with the other two pieces in the outfield other than Jordan Alvarez. And if anything happens to him, he is going to cripple the team. He's still hanging on to Franmil Reyes, who's on the IL, and this dude is a fucking black hole this season.
Well, he's coming back Tuesday.
Okay,
Tomorrow.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
But what really scares me is this pitching staff. It's not very good.
Yeah.
Giolito, Martin Perez, and Sean Manaea are the top three. And then it's Brady Singer, Corey Kluber, Alex Wood, Tariq Skubal, and whatever streamer he's throwing this week. But when I look at McCloskey's team, I see a lot of balance here. Offensively, with Freeman at first, now Trevor Story at second, Justin Turner at third, and I don't know what he's going to play at shortstop at this moment, but Jorge Polanco could be coming back soon. I don't even know what the plan is. There's a bunch going on here, but there's a lot of individual pieces that I like more than the sum of the parts that you mentioned for Lebo.
Okay.
Right? There's 4 dudes on that team. I feel like there's 6 or 7 dudes that could carry this team in one given. Byron fucking Buxton is on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Buxton, Cruz, Freeman, Turner, Story. It's a nasty offense. And the pitching is better than I think we give it credit for. Joe Musgrove is an absolute ace, regardless of COVID.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray is a reigning Cy Young Award winner. Giovanni Gallegos is probably better than Genesis Cabrera.
Yeah.
Carlos Carrasco is a great number 3 and potentially better than Manaea as the 3 on Lebo's. He's still got some semblance of a bullpen. So I think I'm just willing to lean on the side of McCloskey, just having the better pieces.
Okay.
Maybe the guy who would make the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see how it falls out.
Yep. All right. That will finish up the matchups, boys, and it is that time of week once again. Let's talk about our favorite matchup this week. Mike Haber, what was your favorite matchup of the week?
I'm going to go with the one we just talked about. I loved following this matchup. It was so close, and because these managers and the teams they put together are so comparable, it was really fun to follow and just see the back and forth of 11-8, 11-9, 12-8, 12 all week.
Mm-hmm.
And these are two guys that I think want it really bad. Like Lebo, we know his passion at this point, and he played his ass off this week. So they both did. So definitely this one.
All right. Jason Ashby, what are you choosing for matchup of the week?
I'm going to go Brett versus Owen. I'm going to go the Nisman brothers. Just because, again, I think, like you said, that's a tale as old as time. And, to see Ari kind of get the upset here in a double up was just, made it kind of a little interesting.
If the analogy of myself and Ben being Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, and this is the analogy of Bret Hart and Owen Hart, then that means more than likely this match was WrestleMania 10's opener where Owen wins it in a roll-up.
Yes.
Yeah, you like the analogies here at the Bigs Podcast. I'm going with Frank versus Christian, guys. Frank needed to get right win here, and Sunday really made it happen. getting a 12-6 win when he went into the day down 10-9. Hats off to him. Great work, man. That's what you got to do here.
Yeah.
All right. We are up for the managers of the week. Jason, we missed you last week. Let's hear week 9's manager of the week for you.
All right. Number 3 was you, Joe, because you won the matchup. My matchup of the week that week was you versus Bobby, and you won that. So I give that to you.
Thank you.
Number 2 was Ben for taking down Casas in his finals rematch.
Mhm.
And then Levy for just sticking it out number 1.
All right. So I get an extra point. Ben gets a point, and Ben gets 2 points, and Levy gets 3 points. 26 for Ben, 26 for Levy, 25 for Ben, and I move to 19. All right, let's move on to this week, guys. I have Ben's here with us, so I'll keep him going as we go. We're gonna start. Let's start with a number 3. Mike Haber, what is your number 3 manager of the week?
I'm actually going to pick my brother for this one. I like the 13-7 almost double up of Matt. And kind of for the reasons I mentioned before, that Matt is like he's a manager gaining confidence. And I think he actually played very well this week, managed very well this week. So for my brother to come in and kind of like knock that confidence out a bit, it was impressive seeing what he did and his ability to bench and start his pitchers and manipulate a pitching staff that's not strong on paper.
All right, Josh Haber picking up a point here. Jason Ashby, your number 3 of the week, sir.
This is tough, and I really wanted to get Ari in here because of the upset over Ben, but the fact that he just doesn't make moves, like that's maybe roster of the week, not manager of the week. So I'm gonna go here with Chris Levy. Another week in first place. Obviously the opponent wasn't as high as some other weeks, but he made it happen, and he has another week in first place. His bench was great. So I'm going Chris Levy number 3.
All right, Chris Levy picking up an extra point here. For Ben, he went with Jimmy Dunlap. I get the feeling like we're going to talk about his matchup at some point here, so I'm just going to let that sort of ride. Great double-up win over Mike Haber, that's all I'll say. For myself, my number 3, I'm going to put Ari in here because you do not double up Frank. You don't double up Ben Nisman very often, and to do it without making too many moves and to only allow him to have his categories and 2 others and nothing else, that's a testament to doing work on your team. If you're happy with your roster and you don't want to make moves on it, that's fine. But you got to keep churning out wins, and this was a great one. So I'm going to get Ari on the board here with his first point of the season. Hats off to you. Number 2, Mike Haber. Let's hear it.
Oh, Frank Bucco. Well-deserved victory, a double up over Christian. And a lot of these categories were really close that we talked about. Strikeouts and ERA and whip, like all going into Sunday. Innings pitched even. Losses, saves, and Frank did a great job getting a ton of these. And I see a lot of balance on this team now. So I'm impressed.
Jason Ashby, who do you have at number 2 this week?
I'm giving this one to Bobby Russo. He was down or tied all week, and then came back on Sunday and got himself a get right win over Costas, and keeping him in that Bob spot. So kudos to Bobby Russo.
All right, good win for Bobby over Costas. I'm going to agree with you, Mike. I will give my number 2 manager of the week this week. The Sunday is everything that you need to know. He was down 10-9 and it becomes 12-7. Walk away with that win and with your head held high, especially when it's a guy ahead of you in the standings and you're chasing that 6th spot. Everything he absolutely needed. For Ben, he agreed with you, Jason, and gave it to Bobby Russo for all of the reasons that you remember. Now, number 1 for the week, Mike Haber. Let's start with you.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Jason. But you don't take down Jason Ashby 18-1 and not get manager of the week. So Joe, hats off. Yes, this was kind of headed in this direction from the start of the week, but you had to continue to fight and hold Jason off as he climbed back, and you were also managing the hell out of it. So like, yeah, hats off to you. You did a great job against an incredible manager and made it look like it wasn't a matchup.
Thanks, man.
Sorry, Jason.
I'm glad my players played as well as they did. Jason, where are you going with number one this week?
My brain wants to give it to you. My heart says no because it's still black and blue. I'm for all the reasons you guys mentioned before. I'm going Frank Bucco here. A big win over Christian, and keeping himself in the race here. Look out for Frank. I think he's like you said. I think he's going to get on the run, and get right into that heat of that pack. So, good job, Frank.
All right, Frank getting a number one spot for the first time this season. Well done. I can't pick myself, so I'm going to go with Jimmy Dunlap. The 14-7 win over Mike Haber is always something you want to see, especially when you don't want Mike Haber chasing down the 6th seed. So thanks so much for taking care of that. Hopefully we're not too far away from that bug being squashed. Good win for Jimmy. Ben's number one is, in fact, this fucking guy, because an 18-1 victory is not something that happens every day. And I was talking with Ben about this when it was 21-0 on like Wednesday and Thursday. And I said, I know it's not going to finish that way. He goes, yeah, but we've seen guys come back from 18-0, almost make the playoffs, and Chris Levy a couple of years ago. I said, yes, but that 18-0 trucking happened in like week 1, 2, not in week 10.
Yeah.
This is a bad spot. So I thank you guys for having me as your number one this week in Mike and Ben. All right, I'm just tabulating up everything. Oh, did I say my number one? Yeah, Jimmy, because Okay, we're gonna tabulate up the leaderboard here. A lot of names this week, guys.
I must say, I do appreciate you calling me a bug after I give you manager of the week.
You're welcome.
It just warms my heart.
See what happens?
I change my mind.
No, too late. Already out there. All right, Levy got. Oh, Bobby jumping to double digits here. Frank is well jumping to double digits here. And Ari on the board. Jimmy gets okay. So we've got our most up to date standings here. And as it stands now, Christian's still out in front with 34, but he hasn't had a point in quite a few weeks now. Chris Levy catching up to his cousin with 26, Ben with 25, myself with 25, Josh with 23, Jason at 15, Frank now at 13. Look at Frank coming up the board here.
Wow.
Costas with 11, Bobby with 10, Mike with 8, Jimmy with 8, Lebo with 7, Matt Losi with 6, James McCloskey with 5, and Sherman and Ari are on the board, boys. Yay!
Good job.
Everybody gets points this year. Yay!
Good job.
If we take a look at the tracker, gentlemen, we'll take a look at it this way, and this is the most recent week now. Our big riser this week, myself, I jumped 2 spots. I think there was somebody else who jumped 1 spot. Frank jumped 2 spots. Costas, the big loser. Oh, yeah, Ari jumped. Costas dropping 3 with the loss there. Mike, big loss, didn't move. Jason, big loss, only moved you down 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, technically, you're only tied with Losi. It's percentage points.
Yeah.
So in theory, it might not have even moved you anywhere.
I come for you. I come for you, Mike. Be ready.
Right. Look out.
All right. All right.
The most and worst, we have a tie for the most triples in a week with 4, thanks to Ben Nisman. The rest is... Oh, and Lebo takes over the most losses in a week with 9 this year.
Wow.
Yep. We had 2 guys with 25 relief appearances. That is close to the most, but not quite. And a nice ERA from you, Mr. Havers.
Thank you.
The fewest 3 doubles was Ben's this week. I mentioned that the 4 wasn't enough, but 3 is the least we've seen all season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's it for this week.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, this has been fantastic, and I thank you guys for being here. We're gonna break for dinner, come back, and probably do an extra innings episode. So thank you guys all for being here. Mike, thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me again, Joe. Congrats on your big win. And Jason, it's not too late for us. We're still in this. Let's keep fighting. We got
Somebody
this.
is gonna go on a run. It's gonna be one of the two of you, or Frank, or Bobby, or James. Somebody is gonna make a run, and we're gonna see this sixth spot get very, very tight. Jason, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. 18-1 loss notwithstanding. I love you, boy. And it'll I'll heal. I'll be fine.
All right. Well, I hope that you put some whoopings on some people in the weeks to come, Jason, because we want to see you get right here.
Yep.
What do you have this week? You've got
Costas.
This is a good guy to go put a whooping on. So go do that. All you folks watching, thank you so much for being here. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button, ring the bell so that you know when we go live or when we upload new content. To those of you in the Doubleday Pro League, Mike Trout has an offer on the table. I will tell you guys off air what it is and how good it might be. But it's a keeper infielder and a keeper closer for 2 top 10 picks. I like it. I like it a lot. But the DMs are open, boys, and Mike Trout is not going to last. He hit 5 homers last week, and he's really heating up. If you guys are following us on audio platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, whatever other dozen we're on, thank you so much. Share this with your friends. Give us a 5-star rating if that's capable. And most importantly, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. I have got a huge piece on Frank coming up this week. It's going to be amazing. We watched a game with Ben about a week ago, and I've been cutting this thing up for a while, getting ready to release some pieces here. So big stuff coming on the TikTok and the Instagram at It's the Bigs Podcast. Until next time, guys, it's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the Bigs. We'll see you next time.